Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay guys, so now I am going to discuss about few topics. Let's say if you don't like Docker, then what else you like? Docker is a container management tool. So do we have any other tools also which can help you to create a container? Yes, we have. So we call it container runtime interface. Okay, so you can call container runtime. Interface here. So yeah, if you don't like Docker, you might like uh, Rocket, CRI, CNRI Container D, Rocket Lake, Cryo, Fracty. So these are the container technology which is evolving around the globe. And let's say if you don't like Docker tomorrow, so you can migrate to one of these. Now, how Docker works? There is a second question. How Docker works? So let's understand this. Sometimes we also call it Docker architecture. Okay, Docker architecture. So for this, what we need is we need someone human, because without us we can't use anything, right? So we communicate with the Docker client. Yeah, Docker client is one of the executable, okay, which connects through REST API. REST means you know that, right? REST API through the Docker daemon. Okay, Docker daemon. This daemon also we call it server. It's a server. Now Docker client through REST API connect to the Docker server and send the instruction. Docker server talk to the container D. Container D. And guys, container D talk to the kernel to release all the resources, the same resources which I've been talking about, these resources, same resources. So here container D. Now this together we call it Docker engine. What we call it? Docker engine. Okay, we will install it and then I'll show you this Docker client, Docker daemon. Now what is container D? That's a question, right? You should ask what is a container D. So guys, container D is like a industry standard. Okay, look at this here. It says industry standard to talk to the kernel. Okay, see here. So industry standard container runtime with something like that. So basically it's a container runtime. So any container technology nowadays we are using like a Docker, Rocket and all. So all are using the container D to connect to the kernel, because these tools cannot talk to the kernel directly. Container D, they use it as an interface to connect with the kernel, and then kernel get the release all the releases all the resources through the namespace and stuff like that. Okay, so this is how Docker works. I mean, Docker architecture. So this is the Docker architecture. Now, next thing is Docker. How to install Docker? How to install Docker? So that anyways I will teach you. I'll show you that through the demo. Okay, I'll show you through the demo. But before showing you the demo of how to install Docker, let me talk about Docker workflow. Now, Docker workflow is very important. So I want to install Docker, then I want to teach you Docker workflow, and then I want to teach you Docker components of Docker. Components of Docker. Now, which one I should select first? So let me do one thing. Let me talk about the components of Docker first, and then let me talk about Docker workflow, and then how to install Docker. Now, what is the components of Docker? So there are four components what we have in a Docker. One of the component which we have is Docker engine. Yeah. Now, what is Docker engine? You know that very well by now. So whenever you install Docker, you get one executable which is client, and then one another executable which is running as a daemon, Docker daemon, Docker server. Together that is called Docker engine. Now we human send the instruction to the client. The client connect to the daemon, and then uh, that request getting served. So that's a one of the component. First component of the Docker is Docker engine. Now, what is the second component what we have? So second component what we call it is Docker image. Now guys, this is a very important section. What is Docker image? So tomorrow anyways I'm going to spend almost half day on this topic, but today I have to introduce you what is Docker image. So before introducing you what is Docker image, do you know what is the OS image? Do you know what is OS image, and what is OS image? What is OS image? Do you know? Anyone would like to answer this question? Anyone would
It's a
like to
copy
answer
of,
this?
yeah, it's a OS installed in a drive. So if you have a copy of that drive, so that's a OS image, right?
Yeah. So guys, let's understand in a little bit different context. So guys, OS image consists of file systems. Now guys, what is a file system? You know that. Let's say I don't know the file system, so I'll put it in Google, and then I go to image section, and then see, wonderful. So guys, this is the one file system: directory, then subdirectory, and then file. Simple. I see other images also. Wonderful. Okay, I've seen this somewhere. Have you seen this somewhere, this image? I hope it's visible to all of you. Anyone? Where you have seen this? Guys, are you there?
Linux operating system.
Linux operating system. Okay, great. Linux. Wonderful. Guys, see here. This is also file system. Wonderful. So if I do the Google, I was not knowing about the file system. When I did the Google, I found out file system is nothing but a collections of directory and files for a specific purpose. In fact, I don't know how many of you are using Git. Git is also file system. Your C drive, D drive is file system. Your desktop is file system. Everything is just a file system for specific purpose in it. Okay. So now here what I said, your image is a consist of file system. Wonderful. That is a good thing. Now I understood multiple file system together we call it image. But guys, here we should know type also. What is a type of file system? So guys, one of the type which we find in the operating system image, and that is boot file system. Okay, boot file system. What is a boot file system? So boot file system, we know this as a kernel. Yeah, this is a kernel file system. You can see this one when it's you open up any images and all, but during the runtime you cannot see the boot file system. Why? Because get it loaded in the RAM actually. So it is a boot file system, which is the kernel, and I still have that images. I have not deleted it, so I can show you. Where is that? That got closed somehow. Oh, it's okay, fine, no problem. So on top of the kernel hardware, you have a kernel, right? So that has a file system, boot file system. Okay. Now, guys, another file system we have is a root file system. Root file system. Now guys, I want to see the root file system. Can I check? Because I don't know anything about the root file system. I just did Google. Wonderful, I found out something. Guys, this is the root file system. This is the root file system. Windows root file system, C drive. I'm looking for some things better. Windows root file system. I can't show you the C drive, D drive properly. No, no problem. So directly let's see that. This is the tree. Look at this. I know there's too much if files are there. Okay. This is how it is. Okay. So guys, what is a root file system? Look at this. This one is a root file system. But for what? Linux. This one is also root file system. For what? Linux. The one which you see here, C drive, is a Windows root file system. Windows has a program files 86, program data, Windows, users. These are the Windows root file system. Can you see it? Windows root file system? Yes, I can see it. On top of that, we have user file system. Yeah, user file system also we have. Okay, what is the user file system? You wanna see that? So let's go to my user home. No one can see except myself. This one. See here. This is the user file system. Here you have a desktop, downloads, desktop, favorite, games, .sh. All these are the my file system. Where to go and check it out? This one. See, users, Rajesh. These all are my file systems. User. And then one more file system, broadly we use it, and that is called application file system. What is application? Typically operating system, when you think, hundreds of applications are installed. In operating system, you have hundreds of applications installed. Kernel is only small. When you install top of that so many application, then it's become huge. So you want to see application file system. So let's see, where is that? So where dir, do you have? Not find. Which dir? No. Okay, so let me show you that my application file system, which is here. I typically install all of my applications inside a C tools, and this is a Maven file system, one application. This is a Java, another applications. So guys, these are the file systems, all are file system, which you see. So guys, what OS image contains? Boot, root, user, app. I hope this is clear for all of you. Correct now? Is it clear for everyone? Guys, are
Yes, Rajesh.
wonderful. So guys, the question was not OS image. Question was Docker image. So guys, what is Docker image? That is a question. So guys, Docker image is nothing but the same thing. Consist of file system, but they are different. What difference? Remember, in the container you don't have operating system. So in the Docker image, yeah, look at this. Now anyone will ask you, what is the difference between OS image and Docker image? You can tell. Docker image consists of root file system, user file system, application file system. When I say, then in simple example, you want to see example, right? Example, easy. So here kernel will be Linux. Here it can be Ubuntu. Here it can be root. Here it can be ls is one application installed. Simple. So here, what is Ubuntu? Guys, so far you've been telling Ubuntu is operating system. No, not at all. CentOS is operating system. Fedora is operating system. RHEL is operating system. Windows 10, Windows 16. You've been telling, right? All these are operating system. Actually, no. These are the flavor of these are the flavor of root file system. Mind it again. These are the flavor of root file system. Your operating system only two in the world: Linux kernel, Windows kernel. That's all. On top of that, whatever you see, those are the flavors. Okay. So now when you say Ubuntu, Fedora, SUSE, HP, RHEL, Ubuntu, CentOS, this, that, these are the flavor. That means on a Linux kernel, they have written, multiple vendor have written multiple file system. That's the reason Ubuntu has apt and RHEL family has a yum. So they have written everything at the top of kernel, and they call it, these are the flavor of operating system. But because of we don't want to complicate the so many things, so we say, okay, it's a Ubuntu operating system, RHEL operating system. Now are you understanding this? What is the difference between the root file system and boot file system, and what is operating system and stuff like that? Are you getting, guys, this one?
Yes, Rajesh.
Wonderful. So guys, if someone will tell you what is image, Docker image, so you tell them it's a combination, it's a collections of root file system, user file system, app file system. In short, guys, here it can be Ubuntu root file system or CentOS also, anything, and top of that user and app file system. So in short, guys, what happens? Image get mounted. Think about it. Image get mounted to each user. One copy of image, yes, get mounted to each user. One container, okay, is equal to one container. That means, guys, if you want 5 container, then this image will be copy of image will get mounted to 5 times. Simple. Whatever you have in image, whatever you have in image, you see inside a cluster, inside a container. Simple. I'll put it in this way. Whatever you have in OS image, you see in the operating system, right? Same way. Whatever you have in image, you see inside a container. Inside a container, not outside of the container. Because the files, file system get mounted to the container. Each user, which is your container. Okay. So it's the collections of root file system, user file system, and app file system. Now I will teach you how to create an image, but not today, tomorrow. Today we will play with the containers. Tomorrow we will play with the images. So guys, are you clear with what is Docker images? Everyone?
Yes, Rajesh.
Wonderful. So guys, this was the second component. Now third component. What is the third component? So guys, third component is Docker registry. Now guys, what is a registry? So guys, registry contains repository. Simple. Now which contain repository? So if I understand this, Docker registry contains repository. So that way, if I tell you GitHub, what is a GitHub? Tell me, registry or repository? Tell me, is it a registry or repository? GitHub.com.
It's a registry.
It's a registry, right? So GitHub is a registry, guys. GitLab is a registry. Bitbucket is a registry. Gerrit is a registry. I know so many registries are there. Contain repository. So guys, and repository contains, I'll just put it in this way. Repository contains, see, registry contain repository, and repository contains what? File systems of images. Simple. Yes, I say yes means multiple file system. In a Git, right, you know, Git contain multiple commit. Each commit has a file system. Mind it. Git is not a file versioning. Mind it. Again, I repeat, Git is not a tall file versioning. Git is a file system versioning tool. SVN is a file versioning. Git is not. Why I am saying? Read about the Git internals. Okay. So guys, Docker registry, a place you will find multiple repository, and each repository you will find the file system of images. So guys, there are two kind of registry, sorry, public and private. So when I say public means anyone can access. So have docker.com. Google registry is also public. But private registry is something like, I don't want the public access, but my team, my organization, my enterprise. So I think you can set it up. So many vendors are there. I'm not naming everything. Next is Artifactory is the one which is a private registry. Nexus is also which can be used for private registry. ECR on AWS, Google registry, Azure registry. So many registries are there, guys. You can make it public or private. It's up to you. Throughout our training, we will use hub.docker.com. What is this hub.docker.com? Let's go ahead and check it out. And here I found out. So nice website, right? Now, if I look at this here, please read this. See how many images you get it. See? So many images you get it. So guys, yeah. So we will use download the images from here. And that's called registry. Hub.docker.com is called registry. What is the last thing? This is called Docker container. And that is the thing which you know already. So guys, what happens? Very simple thing. When we run image, simple. When we run image means, see, we say run image through client. This command sent to the Docker daemon. Docker daemon sent to the containerd and kernel. That is what. So when we run image, okay, a user get created using user namespace and get mounted from one copy of image. Read it, please. Copy, I said. And network get PID from PIDNS and get network from netns. Simple. So whenever you run image, this is what it happens. So this is a container. Now how much time it takes? Second. So whatever you have a file, application, see application, where is that? Image. So whatever the application you have, it run inside a container and everyone can use this. So guys, did you understand this? Component of Docker, Docker engine, Docker image, Docker registry, Docker container. Is that clear for everyone?
Yes.
So now guys, the question is, what is a Docker workflow? So guys, workflow is very simple also. Let's discuss about this. And after that, I will install the Docker. So Docker workflow, what is happening here is human send the command. What command? Run image, that's all. Using Docker client. To what? Docker daemon. Docker daemon, Docker server is the same thing. Now guys, Docker daemon check. Do I have that image? Who check? Docker daemon. Check. Which image? Because that image do you have in the local machine wherever you are running? Answer is no. Then answer is no. Then download from hub.docker.com. Simple.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Okay, hub.docker.com. Now, do you have image to local? Sorry. So when you don't have image, download from the hub.docker.com, and then what do you do? Create a container. Create a container. And when I say container, I've already explained you multiple times. We have image already in the local registry, then create a container. So this is the workflow. So by default, whenever you try to create a container, you need to have images in the local registry. Guys, this workflow of Docker is understood or not?
Rajesh.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Rajesh. I think when we use that Docker run command, it doesn't create the container, right? It creates the container using Docker create container, something like that.
No. Docker run always create a container, always. Now, I will come to that point when you will see that you will see me demoing it, and same time you can also try it yourself. So run always create a container. But before teaching you run, I need to teach you a few more things. So which anyways, I'll show you the demo and I'll explain it to you. But just to answer your question, run always create a container. Any other questions, guys?
Just one question. We have a OS image that is common across multiple systems, or everywhere it's same. Why we need to create multiple Docker images? Why? What is the difference between different Docker images?
Sir, it's like this. Container has applications. So see here. Let's say you want to create a container of root file system Ubuntu, an application here HTTP, but you want to run Tomcat in CentOS. So you will create one image with a root file system CentOS and then application Tomcat. So it's up to you. Here it can be root or a root or any other user also, and here you can, or let's say Apache is user, Tomcat is user. Here applications can be also application can Apache or Tomcat. So here, why do you need to have different images? Because you want the different behavior. Ultimately, let me tell you, these are the root file system. You need a boot file system which is on the host machine anyways. And overall everything is being worked together. In fact, if you look at this here, how you work, forget about the container. Think about yourself right now in your laptop, the one which you are using. You have a file system layered. This is the boot one, which you are not able to see that right now because loaded in a memory RAM. Then on top of that root one, what is the root? This is your C drive, E drive, this, that. And top of that, you might have installed Java.
Eclipse.
Correct, now?
Yeah.
So something like that. And this Java and C drive, this you are able to see because of user isolation got. So you got inside that you see here. Whereas this part, one user will be having user home that you cannot see. You can see, but other user cannot see. But this Java, C and all people can see it. So this is same thing happening here also. In the look at the OS image has a boot one. But here if you look at this, they don't have a root. and there are so many flavor, more than 46 flavor of Linux itself is available. So anything here, it can be anything. Let's say you want to run application in Ubuntu, so go for root file system. If you want CentOS, go for root file system. Fedora, Debian, SUSE, HP, whatever, Amazon. So you can accordingly, you will have to have different images. Make sense?
Okay. Okay.
Guys, more question?
That's it.
Any other questions, guys? Okay, great. So guys, now the question is how to install Docker. How to install Docker. But before that, I should teach you one more topic before I jump to the demo, because you understand all these points, no? Demo is just a matter of 5 minutes, trust me on that. So Docker workflow, after that, what should I teach you? So I should teach you container life cycle. You understand that, right? Life cycle. What is the life cycle meaning for life cycle? Let me find out answer. See if I see, wonderful. So guys, everything on this planet has a life cycle, yes, everything. In fact, software development also has a life cycle now. SDLC cycle we call it, right? So everything, in fact, universe has a life cycle. So do container also have a life cycle? But before that, before me talking about the container life cycle, because you've been using the VMs from last 20 years plus, and all you are comfortable with the VMs life cycle, can you tell me what is a VMs life cycle? So if you teach me VMs life cycle, I will teach you containers life cycle as well. Anyone would like to tell me what is a VMs life cycle? Anyone? Okay, no problem. So guys, I am going to teach you VMs life cycle as well. So in the VMs, first we create a VM. Then we start the VM. If it is started, so you can stop the VM also. If it is stopped, you can start also. When it stop and start, when you started, instead of doing stop and start one more time, you can restart as well together. Okay, so restart as well. See here, stop and start, restart. Wonderful. Now restart and start both will be running the container, VMs. Then you can pause also. Here you can pause also. Then if it is a pause, of course you can unpause this. Unpause means unpause. When it's unpause, that means it's running. You can kill this one also. So here you have to kill when it is running. Killing, you know that many times you might have killed multiple processes. So killing the running container through kill. And then finally you can remove. You cannot remove if it is not running. Kill is one of the way to not running, to make not running, and then remove. So guys, are you comfortable with this life cycle, VM's life cycle? All of you? All of you?
நீங்கள் பேசிக் கொண்டிருக்கும் நபர் உங்களுடைய அழைப்பை
I
ஹோல்டில்
think there's some
வைத்துள்ளார்.
noise coming
தயவு
from
செய்து
someone.
லைனில் காத்திருக்கவும். The person you are speaking with has put your call on hold. Please stay on the line.
So I had to mute him. So guys, this is the VM's life cycle. So do we have any container life cycle? Yes, same thing. So yes guys, container you can create, then you can start, then you can start, stop, then start back. In short, you can restart, pause, unpause, kill and remove. So this is the same life cycle what we have in the container also. So next question is how to install Docker, and this is the demo which I am going to present you right now before giving you a lab. So guys, any questions so far? Any questions, any doubts? No. So guys, demo time. I am going to install Docker in one of the boxes following this instruction in front of you. So guys, here you have installations to uninstall the Docker if you have existing, though you don't have it. This is the way to install through yum. This is the way to install through RPM package. This is the way to install through a script. I am using yum, starting the steps from here. Okay, so same command I'm going to run it now in front of you, and for that I need one virtual machine. So let's get created these virtual machines on AWS quickly, and let's get started. So I'm going to create a virtual machines here using on AWS. Here launch instance, I'll just go for CentOS 7, the same operating system what you have in the virtual box. Select, I'll go for 1 CPU, 2 GB RAM. That's more than sufficient. You guys have 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. So okay, so I got this IP address. All of your IP address is on desktop. One notepad is there. You can find. You have to start the VM before using it. I'm using the putty to access this machine. All of you have a putty on the desktop itself. You have a password, I have a keys, because AWS by default provide a key. I have to convert into the PPK, which is here. I'm trying to log in because a new server, it takes few seconds to boot up. Username, key provided. I've logged in. For better view, I'm going to improve that font style and screen color so you can see as well. Here it is. Now it's a normal user and I have to become a root to install anything. I have to follow the instruction here from here. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you have it. Step 5 till you have to follow. It's important. So in front of you, I'm following this stuff. So here, become a root now. I'm just following all the steps one by one. I'll be having little bit of patience to wait. And then in AWS, everything is pretty fast, but you might face little bit of waiting time. No need to get panic. I press yes. Here. And this command will install this community edition. I'm using CentOS 7, so yum all the time. There are various ways to install actually Docker. So all the official documents will have a detailed instruction, but because we are learning containers, we'll stick to the CentOS one platform only. And all the instructions which you have for you is available in the notes, the one which I'm going to share with you. These two commands are same actually. Here you have a -y, here you have a no -y. And after installations, I'm going to check this version. So installation is in progress right now. It'll take few seconds more. And version, you see 1903. Now I'm going to enable this Docker, enabling for tomorrow because we need this after restart, and start the service. Done. Can we do the Docker info? Again, when I do the Docker info, you get to know so many information here. Images, server version. No matter whether you understand or not, please go through each and every options and read it. It'll help you. Registry, Docker root, total memory, CPU, architecture, this, that, and all. So guys, Docker is installed. Now the question is, after the Docker is installed, do we have all the components which we discuss in the architecture? So do you have a client here or not? So guys, if I see which Docker, see, this is the client. Can we see Docker daemon, which is the next one, which should be running all the time? Here it is, Docker daemon. Do we have a container D? Which container D? See here, the executable here, and Docker D calling the container D at the socks. This is the container D, and container D to communicate with the kernel using the runc. They manage the container. So this is your complete installations steps altogether, 14 steps which I followed in front of you. Again, for each and everything I'm sharing the instruction documents as well, and get going. So guys, any questions so far on the installation front and validating front? Any questions?
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan, and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.